Hey music people, I'm Aviram from Makemusic.co.il, and this time I want to talk to you about one of the most important, basic and powerful tools you have in the studio. And it doesn't matter if you're recording, mixing, or mastering. I'm talking about the compressor. For that reason, it's very important to really know this tool and understand how to work with it. Before there was a compressor, mix techs used to sit with their hands on the faders and just increase and reduce volume manually where necessary. Ride the faders. A compressor is basically an automatic volume reducer. This tool helps us control the dynamic range of the track on which it's running. It simply means the difference between the loudest and most quiet volume of the recorded source. We define the parameters by which it will work, as when to kick in, how much it influences the track, and in what way. It can be used on individual tracks, group channels, the master bus, and in various forms to get very different kinds of results. In this video, I'll be working with the compressor that comes free along with Cubase. I love it. It's very transparent and does the job well without coloring the sound, and you can easily reach a natural and very musical result with it. It doesn't matter what DAW you're using. What you'll see in this example is true for all compressors, and even if they're built a little different and look different, everyone's goal is identical, and the principle behind them is the same. Let's look at it for a moment and understand what each of these buttons do. We'll focus on the important things common to most compressors you might run into. Let's start with the threshold. The number shown here indicates the minimum volume in which the compressor will start working. Less than that, and it'll do nothing. Therefore, this parameter varies according to the recorded material and cannot be universal. That's why, if you work with presets, it's the first thing to change and adapt to your needs. Next is the ratio. It determines the ratio for gain reduction. If I set the ratio for 3, for example, then for every 3 dB that comes in above the threshold, the compressor will let out only 1. That is why it's called a ratio of 3:1. With the attack, we determine how fast the compressor will kick in. The higher the value, the faster it starts to reduce gain. Release determines how long it takes the compressor to return the volume to what it was before the gain reduction. High values mean it will happen slowly, and low values means faster. The makeup gain knob is for compensation. With it, I can turn back up the general track gain to compensate for lost volume. The hold button determines how long the compressor keeps the volume in a reduced condition before it is released. Analysis is a way of telling the compressor how to treat the audio coming in. If you wanted to pay more attention to peaks, knob to the left, or to the average volume level, RMS, knob to the right. Generally, when we just want to balance out the overall power, we'll go more towards the RMS. And for more peak busy material, where we want to reduce momentary high levels, such as percussion, different guitar parts, and drums, we'll probably turn the knob towards the peak side. But it very much depends on what result we want to achieve. Experiment and see what works best for you. In this particular compressor, you can select automatic mode for different parameters, so the software does some calculations behind the scenes and decide what will be the value for that parameter. Live mode in this compressor will use up less CPU. So let's dig in. I have a guitar track and a vocal track. Let's listen.
הימים שלי טרופים, הפחדים שלי צפים, כשאנחנו כמו זרים, החלומות שלי רעים, והימים שלי טרופים, הפחדים שלי צפים, כשאנחנו שני זרים.
Okay, so let's start with the guitar track. In general, it sounds pretty good, and I don't want to make a drastic change, rather only balance it a bit. It has some peaks that are a bit too rough for my taste and should be tamed. Let's drop a compressor in an empty insert slot and start working. The first thing would be to adjust the threshold so the compressor will reduce just the peaks that need taming and not the entire time the guitar is playing. We don't want it squashed. Now I set the ratio for gain reduction. In this case, the ratio is 2.7 to 1. After we did that, we'll adjust the attack and thus decide how fast the compressor begins to lower the level. Because it's a strummed acoustic guitar which plays a rhythmic part, I want the very first hits to be present with no change and start reducing immediately after them. I set the release speed to a relatively high value, so the gain reduction will affect only the peaks that require it, and not all the time. Now I'm making up for level loss because of gain reduction. I turn up the makeup gain to the point where the volume of the track with the compressor bypassed or active are of no difference. Do you hear the difference? It's fuller, more presence of low frequencies. I have maintained the dynamics and rhythmic characters. The guitar sounds natural, and yet the peaks are under control. Let's compare with and without the compressor to hear the differences better. I'll just play it back and go in and out of bypass mode. Check it out. Let's move to the vocal channel and see what happens there. For the compressor not to work at all, I raise the threshold point much higher than the signal.
והימים שלי טרופים, הפחדים שלי צפים, כשאנחנו שני זרים.
Okay, it doesn't sound bad. There are quite a few places where certain words or syllables are stronger than others, and I want to just straighten the performance and balance it so the words could be understood easily and there won't be much distractions and large surprising jumps. We'll make up for lost gain.
הפחדים שלי צפים כשאנחנו כמו זרים, החלומות שלי רעים והימים שלי טרופים, הפחדים שלי צפים כשאנחנו שני זרים.
Let's hear the difference with the compressor on and then bypassed as I play it back.
החלומות שלי רעים והימים שלי הפחדים שלי צפים כשאנחנו כמו זרים, החלומות שלי רעים והימים שלי טרופים, הפחדים שלי צפים כשאנחנו שני זרים.
I want to focus on this piece. It has a significant jump in energy. Let's listen to it with the compressor on and then bypassed.
והימים שלי טרופים, הפחדים שלי צפים, והימים שלי טרופים, הפחדים שלי צפים.
Have you noticed? Here too, a significant difference in comparison, but the effect is reflected rather transparently and not drawing attention at all. So we can get natural, balanced, and musical sounding tracks that would make our mix more uniform, professional, clean, and under control. Nothing gets lost in the mix, and every element of it has its place. Now that we understand the compressor and how to work with it, we can utilize it for different uses and different artistic needs and break the rules. Be creative, get crazy, and experiment. So that's the tip this time. I hope it helps. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel so you're updated whenever a new video comes out. Visit the Facebook page. You can follow me on Twitter, and I would definitely recommend checking out the site if you're not there at the moment. It's updated not only with videos, but also articles and other goodies that will help you with recording, mixing, and mastering. Thanks for watching. I'm Aviram from Makemusic.co.il. Until next time, have fun and go make music.